Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Theravada Buddhism series, Dhamma talk number 68. Mutuality or Reciprocity condition. Annamanna Paccayo. The word Annamanna is translated into English as mutuality or reciprocity. Paccayo means condition. So, Annamanna Paccayo means mutuality condition, and this is a part of the cognizance condition. Sahajata Paccayo, we discussed it. In the last talks. Mutuality condition is a part of cognizance condition, but not all cognizance conditions are mutuality conditions. So there's an overlap. That's why you might have heard a lot of what we are going to talk today in the cognizance. Sahajata. Let's refresh our mind. Cognizance condition is the arising of cause and effect together. So that's a focus. Anything that arises, any causes and effect that arises together, on together, is cognizance condition. And mutuality condition is cause and effect supporting each other, one another, back and forth. The cause support the existence of the effect effects support the existence of the cause, and that is called mutuality, Annamanna. So, in the text translated in English, I'm going to recite what is written in the text. Annamanna condition is 1. The four immaterial aggregates are related to one another by mutuality condition. 2. The four great elements are related to one another by mutuality condition. 3. At the time of conception, mind and matter are related to each other by mutuality conditions. Only there are 3 segments in mutuality condition. which means mind and matter support each other back and forth for their existence. Cause and effect support each other for their existence. So I will use mutuality and Annamanna back and forth. They mean the same. I would like you to become familiar with the word Annamanna. In Annamanna condition, mental aggregates, 4 great elements, mental associate and heart base, play the roles of cause and effect. They rise together and support one another. That's in Annamanna. Condition Sahajata. In Sahajata, Paccayo, all causes and effects occur or born together, but they may or may not be mutually related. Trying to emphasize on the difference between the two because they have overlaps. So we heard the word mental aggregates. So what are the mental aggregates? In the mental aggregates, if feeling, Vedana, is the cause, perception, sanya, mental formation, sankhara, and consciousness, vijnana, are the effects. So those are the 4 mental aggregates: Vedana, sanya, sankhara, and vijnana. Feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. Those are called 4 mental aggregates. Those 4 combined is called mind. Now let's go further. If feeling and perception are the causes, mental formation and consciousness are the effects. If feeling, perception, and mental formation are the causes, consciousness is the effect. So in here it shows these four, feeling, perception, mental formation, and consciousness. These 4 factors reciprocally supported one another. They take turn to be cause and effect, to be cause or to be effect. Under a certain situation, they behave differently. So that is for 4 mental aggregates. Let's see the physicality. Rupa. In the Rupa there are 4 great elements. Some wrote it as 4 essential elements. They are earth, wind, fire, and water. These 4 elements arises together and mutually support one another. They cannot be separated. They arise together, and at the same time they support one another mutually. Now let's see mental aggregates. At the point of conception, Paticchande, when one is conceived, there's a certain number, a certain amount of mental aggregates. And the heart base is rupa, materiality. So, mental aggregates and heart base reciprocally reinforce or maintain or support each other. Mental aggregates cannot exist without heart base. Heart base would not arise without mental aggregates. Each need the other for their existence. But mental aggregates is the cause, and heart base is the effect. Even though they arise together, they support each other. One is always a leader. Now, I think we have a certain clarity on what Annamanna Paccayo, mutuality condition is. Let's see how it applies in Vipassana. The 4 mental aggregates are the objects of Vipassana. Feeling, vedana, we always observe on the pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling. Sanya, perception, the way we perceived the object. But in a Vipassana, perception is produced by mindfulness, full awareness, not partial awareness, not hit and miss, always hitting to the target, mindfulness, perception that arises with mindfulness. Sankhara, mental formation. Put it loosely, all the emotions and mental qualities. Vijnana, we are always observing about thinking, wondering, remembering. That is Vijnana, consciousness. Those are the 4 mental aggregates, and we observe all 4 of them in Vipassana. So let's focus on one of the 4, Vedana, feeling. In the scripture, feelings, whenever they mention about feelings, it's written in a sequence as such. First is pleasant feeling, sukha vedana. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, neutral feeling. Sukha vedana, dukkha vedana, upekkha vedana. When it is written, that is how the sequence goes. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. However, in our Satipatthana Vipassana practice, an unpleasant feeling comes first. The sequence changes because the way we practice. So, yogi must correctly observe and overwhelm the unpleasant feeling. So that's our job. First of all, we observe correctly and then overwhelm it. In other words, so that it wouldn't bother us anymore, regardless how unpleasant it may be. And if we can succeed with it, we have already reached halfway to the goal of our practice. If you overwhelm unpleasant feeling, we have reached halfway to the goal. Let's call it halfway to Nibbana. In the unpleasant feeling dwells mental anguish. We are always angry and dissatisfied whenever unpleasant feeling hit us. So one is usually unhappy with an unpleasant feeling. So, how do we practice? The yogi must bear in mind always the danger of samsara. Keep in your mind how dangerous, terrible, scary samsara is. That is the base board. And observe the unpleasant feeling. And how would you observe? You observe as if it is a needle in the body, or like a little sliver that's stuck into your skin and flesh. A little needle in the body. Once you got there, it hinders you from doing anything properly because it is always there. It's always grabbing your attention. You can't focus on other things fully. It hinders you from doing anything properly. So, one must first pluck out that needle or unpleasant feeling to progress in Dhamma. Suppose there's an unpleasant feeling in the body. Let's see, and the yogi ignores it and diverts its attention to rising and falling of the abdomen. There's unpleasant feeling, but no, I'm going to focus on rising and falling. And if that's the case, one would not be able to focus on the rising and falling properly and precisely. Because that unpleasant feeling is always intruding in between. Therefore, there can be no concentration, which is a requirement to penetrate into the true nature of mind and matter. So you won't get the result, what you are supposed to. Let's see with the insight. In the third stage of insight, samasana jnana, unpleasant feelings are very evident and powering. By observing with patience, that's a key tool again, patience. The first two is, samsara is a great danger. Keep in the back of your mind. Now, one must have patience every time one observes unpleasant feeling. By observing with patience, one can overcome the unpleasant feeling. So Buddha gave us all the tools, methods, techniques, ways, what to do, how to do. It is not only what to do, He taught us in detail how to do. In the scripture, there's a little story in the text that we'll just put it in to have an idea. Once a bhikkhu was practicing without sleep because he wanted so badly the liberation. Sleeping without sleep, he was practicing. They sleepless and then caught cold, and also he got a severe gas attack, gas pain, constant. So the fellow monks were helping the monk who is in pain. It's so bad, the monk couldn't stand or sit or lie down or bend. He has to change every posture, just seeking for relief from pain. But there's no resolution. So he was rolling left and right, up and down, quite restless. At that time, in a group where the monks who were helping, there's a senior monk, Theravada, and his name is Senior Bhikkhu Pandita. He's a senior monk. He is well in advance. That monk told the monk who is in pain to observe the pain patiently. Just say the nature of the monk is supposed to have a patience, a little bit of information, and then little scolding. Why are you rolling like a fish out of water? Something like that. And the monks in pain said just one word, sadhu. And follow the pain with great patience. And once he followed the pains with great patience, first of all, the frantic mind subsided. Because it is the mind who is experiencing the pain, not the body. The body just is a disbalance of 4 elements. Too much wind element in a certain area. Once the patient's there, the frantic mind, the restless mind, the worried mind subsided. And the monk watched the severe gastric pain, part by part, piece by piece, stage by stage. That's how we watch. And when the pain reached the sternum, the monk became Anagami, once returner, and passed away. That is, in the scripture, actual event, so that we can understand through a story how we must practice. When a person has pain, we always, what do? We try to tough it out. I can take it. Grind your teeth, lock your jaw, tighten the muscle. I'll take it, toughen it out. But in Vipassana practice, one needs to relax both the body and the mind. We don't tough it out, but we relax both the body and the mind and focus on the unpleasant feeling. It's totally different from what we are used to do. So in here, please don't dwell on how long this pain will last. Please don't dwell on the thought, when will it disappear? When will it become worse and worse? If you keep thinking, if your mind is on those attitudes, it will become less, it will be longer. Simply just relax and observe. In your observation, try and see the variation, the changes in the intensity of the pain. And even try and see where the pain is. Is it in your skin? Or in the flesh? Or the nerves? Or the bones? Is the pain there? Observed. And if you investigate like that, your mind will be piercing through the pain. But of course, you won't find it in the skin or the flesh or the nerve or the bone. But that is what you do, so that you can focus deeply. Don't expect the pain to disappear. You are doing all these things to know the true nature of pain. This intensity or the power of pain may increase or may decrease. And if it decreases, don't let go of the intensity of observation. Even though it decreases, your power of observation is still as strong as when it was really painful. Don't let it go. As deep and as powerful as you can. Because as soon as it decreases, people usually let go, oh, okay, I can relax. No, you must still observe with the same intensity. These are the right little correct points how to do. Then the successive arising and disappearance of pain will arise. In the pain you begin to see arise and disappear in a very quick succession. You will experience this directly. That appearance and disappearance of pain will unfold by itself under your deep observation and the concentration along with it. When the pain is constantly disappearing, the sensation of pain becomes less evident. The pain is there, but it is disappearing. And suddenly, the sensation becomes less evident. Then the pain is not the primary object anymore. What is the primary object at that time? The dissolution, the disappearance become the primary object. Pain is not the primary object anymore at that point. The solution becomes the primary object. Of course, that is where we want to be. But I'll go a little farther because we have various levels of yogis of different mindset. Upon noting people with sharp mind knows the disappearance of pain first, and also the disappearance of the consciousness that knows the pain. Some yogis only see the disappearance of pain. Some yogis see the disappearance of pain as well as the mind that knows the pain. Both disappear. The yogi has now experienced impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. Through pain, just by observing pain, you are experiencing anicca, dukkha, anatta. How? Constant disappearance of pain is impermanence. And the oppression by dissolution, this dissolution is so quick, so fast, unbearing, that is suffering. Constant dissolution is suffering, dukkha. And the inability to protect oneself from dukkha, suffering, is non-self, anatta. And when you have that, the yogi has overwhelmed the pain or unpleasant feeling. And he is or she is on the halfway to Nibbana. So that is unpleasant feeling. So in pleasant feeling dwells lust, craving, lust, greed. In pleasant feeling dwells lust. So the yogi observes the pleasant feeling till one see it as suffering, till you see pleasant feeling as suffering, one must observe. At the mature stage of insight, arising and passing away, one will see pleasant feeling instantly and constantly dissolving. Then one knows that the pleasant feeling is nothing but suffering in disguise. In neutral feeling dwells ignorance, upekkha vedana, associated with avijja. The Buddha said we must observe neutral feeling until we'll see impermanence in it. That's a tough one. And one will have that at the level of sankharupekkha jnana, insight of equanimity. There, this neutral feeling will become very obvious, and one can see the constant ending or the solution of the phenomenon. So that's how one observes the three kinds of feeling. So similarly, using the same technique, methods as necessary, the four great elements, earth, wind, fire, and water, one can observe the mutuality unfolds. The mutuality condition of the four great elements unfolds if you practice the mindfulness of the body, rupanupassana. So with that, we will conclude this Annamanna Paccayo, mutuality condition. May all of you be able to practice mindfulness and insight meditation, and may you be able to overcome all three kinds of feelings as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much.